I pretty much heard it from the moment it started playing. I kind of My brain works in a strange way in that as it was playing, I was hearing the arrangement in my head of how it could be. Um, and I think, really in that classic Donna Summer way of when she would take Could It Be Magic and turn it into a dance song, it felt like a natural thing.
Today on Rainbow Country, Donna Summer, Cats Without Claws. Legendary UK music producer Steve Anderson, who's worked with the likes of Westlife, Britney Spears, and A1, Kylie Minogue. He joins me to talk about his involvement in Cats Without Claws.
Hi there, I'm Bennett Singer, a documentary filmmaker and the co-director of the new film Cured, which is currently available on PBS and on the PBS video app. You are listening to Rainbow Country with Mark Tara.
Steve Anderson, hi, how are you?
I'm good, Mark. How are you?
I am well. I'm even better now that you are here. So thank you for being here, especially to talk about your involvement in Donna Summer's Cats Without Claws, the 40th anniversary edition. Cats Without Claws was originally released in 1984, is a Grammy-winning album, winning Donna Summer the Best Inspirational Performance for the track Forgive Me. So here's my first question for you. How did you get involved in this 40th anniversary edition of Donna Summer's Cats Without Claws? How did this come about for you?
Well, I've been a massive Donna Summer fan for as long as I can remember.
Yay!
And I mean, hugely just not only her songs, but her voice. And I still think it's one of the best, along with Whitney Houston. It's one of my favorite voices of all time. So it's a kind of bit of a dream come true for me, really. But the the main reason that this came to me is that Michael Needus from Demon, who obviously puts these reissues together, worked with me the year before on an album for a singer called Claire Richards from Steps, and which I produced, and that was kind of big, kind of disco or kind of anthemic songs covers, but reworked for kind of now, really. And one of them was we did a version of No More Tears with Delta Goodrem. And I sort of, which I do, I love the original anyway. And but I'd heard so many covers of it where they'd just done it like the original. I wanted to change it up a bit, and it was a risk because obviously it's a beloved song and a beloved version. But amazingly, Bruce Sedano had heard it and loved it, and I think between that and me working with Michael, they thought when it came to Cats Without Claws, they thought maybe I would be a good person to be involved in the remixing. So Michael called me and kind of said, "Listen, do you want to do this and do a remix? So you can take your pick of the album." And I then listened to the album, re-listened to the album, because it's not one that I remember as well as some of the other albums. And I there were some obvious choices, and I thought, well, there were some choices where I thought, okay, I could do something with that. But then, of course, at the end, you have this gem of "Forgive Me," which is a classic Donna vocal and not much else. And I just really warmed to that and had this crazy idea that I could turn that ballad into a disco anthem, with a lot of kind of trust, I guess, from Michael and from Bruce, because it would need to be, obviously, I'd need to speed it up a bit. I wanted to have a new background vocal arrangement, new strings, basically just change it into a disco spectacular. And amazingly and brilliantly and thankfully, they trusted me to do it. And that's how it came about.
So you remix the Grammy-winning "Forgive Me," a beautiful ballad originally on the album. So how did you come to the decision to do it, to do that particular song, especially in a dance vein, because it is a ballad? How did you just listen to that song and the a cappella over and over and over again to get inspiration? And on how you would take it in that direction?
I pretty much heard it from the moment it started playing. I kind of my brain works in a strange way in that I had, as it was playing, I was hearing the arrangement in my head of how
Mm,
it could be.
hmm
Um, and I think, really in that classic Donna Summer way of when she would take Could It Be Magic and turn it into a dance song, it felt like a natural thing. And there's obviously been incredible house and club remixes of ballads. Unbreak My Heart's a great example of a ballad that turns into an up tempo. And I realized it was a tempo where I'd need to kind of speed it up a bit, but then I had particular ways of doing things to be keep the vocal intact. Obviously, the vocal is the most important thing out of everything. But as I was listening to it, I had was sort of converting it in my head into how it would turn into that. But ultimately, going back to what I said, ultimately I was only doing to it what Donna Summer had done and her team had done before when they'd made things like Last Dance was started as a ballad and Could It Be Magic started as a ballad. And it's just doing a classic disco version of a ballad, which is what Donna Summer was kind of known for.
So this song is a beautifully done ballad. It's a Grammy winning song. Were you nervous or apprehensive at all about taking a Grammy winning ballad and essentially discofying it, for lack of better words? Were you nervous or apprehensive at all?
I was, because I have such a huge respect for her as an artist, and I knew that it had to get past, many people, including Bruce. So it
Bruce Sedano,
was,
her husband.
yeah, yeah,
Hmm
exactly. And the label and everything. So I did, but I've been lucky enough over the many, many years that I've been doing this to have remixed and worked on sort of lots of songs with from lots of different genres and reworking them. So
hmm
I kind of felt I had it. I knew I wanted
Like you had a
um
template, so to
in
speak.
my head, yeah, I kind of knew what I
Hmm
wanted to sound like. I knew I wanted my friend and artist Terry Ronald, who's a great producer and background vocal arranger. I knew I wanted a new background arrangement on it, and I knew that would help because obviously on the original there's just Donna's voice and a piano, so it needed that. So I knew I needed to record that. I knew how I wanted to kind of structure it, and yeah, no, very nervous because I don't want to do a bad job, especially as kind of this is the one I've been leading up to. I'd never worked on anything by Donna Summer before, and it was too important to get wrong. So, yes, quite nervous about it, but I had a kind of assurance in my head that I knew the world it could live in, and they were very gracious in letting me um, do that.
So you just mentioned creating some new background vocals, whether you want to call it a chorus B or a chant or whatever. It's brilliant,
Thank you.
absolutely
Well,
brilliant.
that is
How did
all the
that come about?
well, that is all the creation of Terry Ronald. So I've worked with Terry for many years, and he's another huge Donna Summer fan. And the day that I called him and said, "Do you want to do some background arrangements for Donna Summer?" He, nearly sort of fell off his chair, but because he's a huge disco fan as well.
Mm.
So we always knew that we wanted that gospel kind of section in the chorus, but then because it's such a short song, it needed a B section, and so I just put down some bass, some chords as you'll hear them, the instrumental stuff in the background of that, and I just said to Terry, "Can you just think of something a kind of Donna-esque background riff that was in keeping?" And that's what he came up with.
So how long did that take to create that new section? Essentially, was it
I
just like,
mean, not too long. I mean, we were
mm,
in, so there was two of our incredible backing singers that I work with a lot, and that they were in, and we put down everything else, and then we had this middle section, and then yeah, we just put it's the usual thing. You put down the basic, the kind of "Forgive Me Now" as I that thing, and then you just add a harmony and add another harmony and add another harmony, and before you know it, you're there. So that's Adatone Oula and Bianca Claxton who were doing the backing vocals on that. And again, having the best time of their life. And the whole day was just everyone was in a disco. It was fantastic.
mm. And that really shines in the extended version, the long version of the song.
Yeah, I love doing those. I mean, it kind
Hmm.
of goes back to my Brothers in Rhythm days, I suppose, when we were doing remixes. But and on this, you know, I'm allowed to do a whole bunch of stuff on this. You know, there's pianos and strings, and obviously I play everything as well. So it had a it has there's a joy to it, and I think just the idea of remixing Donna Summer, I wanted to just show off all of the bits I can do as much as possible. So yeah, and but the main thing was the vocal. It had to work, and it couldn't, even though I was speeding it up a bit. I worked really, really hard on making sure that all of her vibrato stayed the same, and it didn't sound awkward or it didn't sound weird. I
Hmm.
wanted it to sound as authentic and honest as possible.
Random question. You mentioned at the beginning of our interview that you're a fan. You like Donna Summer. You
Yes.
love Donna Summer. Have you ever met her?
No, absolutely no, I haven't at all. And I suppose it was, I mean, I suppose at her height, I was probably, kind of young, but I think I might have seen around the time of the Stock Aitken and Waterman record was kind of the time that I was at that point where I could have, like, I might have been able to see her around and stuff. But no, I never got the opportunity to meet her. No.
Okay, so whether it's being a music supervisor for a music theater show like Becoming Nancy,
Hmm.
or it's writing hit songs for the likes of a Kylie Minogue, or it's remixing tracks, or in this case, a particular track for an iconic artist like Donna Summer. Here's my last question for you, Steve Anderson. It's simply this: what do you hope your audiences come away with after they've experienced the artistry of Steve Anderson? What do you hope your audiences come away with after experiencing you
Um,
and
Phew.
all that you entail?
Well, I mean, firstly, as I've said before, it's a small cog in a big machine. But I would say when it comes to something like the remix, when you're going back to Donna Summer, which is predominantly her vocal and everything else is what I've done, I just hope they would come away with the same joy listening to it as we had creating it. And I think that goes the same for pretty much anything I do. I'd love I put everything I have into what I do, and when people react well to it, I was very fortunate. I saw some lovely reactions from people for Forgive Me, which you just never know because people, as you say, it won a Grammy. People love the ballad version, um, and sometimes people don't want you to play with things. But I just hope that they come away, yeah, pretty much with that joy and happiness and love for the music, because we've had so much fun making it. So if they come away with a small amount of that, then I've done my job.
Steve Anderson, well said, well done, well remixed, well recorded. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks for being on the show. Well done to
Lovely,
you.
lovely to talk to you, Mark. Thank you so much.